Donna, so beautiful. You know, the words are beautiful, but do you feel it?
Yeah.
I felt his voice. Oh, fantastic. Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm sure it will come as no surprise that this morning my topic is hack attacks. HAC, H-A-C, is my acronym for habits that have run amok. Addictions that fill us with fear and guilt and then feed on that fear and guilt. And compulsive actions that are out of control. Our world is run by habits. Some of them are benign and work perfectly, like putting one foot in front of the other to walk across the room. But some habits grab us by the throat and hang on. These are the ones that are often labeled addictions or compulsions. For the past year, I've studied habits, addictions, and compulsions. I've probably read over 30 books. I've taken courses. I have gone on to dozens of websites all about addictions, compulsions, and habits. I've talked to addiction and drug counselors, and I have talked to habitual users. In all of this information, the one thing that I have found is that I don't believe addictions and compulsions are anything more than habits that have run amok. Now this is really important because the word addiction carries a whole lot of very heavy baggage, whereas habits feel like there's something that we can control. Habits are an action that we've repeated so many times that it becomes just something we do without thinking. Excuse me. We know that a habit began in our life. We know that we created that habit, and because we know that we can uncreate it. Unpleasant habits can be brought under our control by first recognizing and understanding them, which diffuses some of their power, and then by consciously forming new beliefs, new useful beliefs that then become our new habits. This morning, I'd like to address the topic, God's role in replacing our undesirable habits. This is my story. I took my first drink when I was 13 years old. I took my last drink on September 18th, 2011, just a little over a year ago. The 57 years between that first drink and that last drink chronicle the life of what society likes to term an alcoholic. I wasn't a falling down drunk. I didn't even think of myself as an alcoholic. I mean, I always maintained my outside life. I was never late for work. I had plenty of schooling, multiple degrees. I maintained my relationships, all while drinking excessively. The fact that I often obsess about my next drink, or that sometimes after a few drinks I'd behave in a manner that was not characteristic of me when I was sober, or the fact that I never leave a drink unfinished, or that I used alcohol as a reward. These were some of the things that bothered me, that stayed in the back of my mind, causing a continual harangue of guilt and fear. When I finally began researching alcoholism, I found that I fit very neatly into a category called high-functioning alcoholics, which according to statistics makes up about 20% of the alcoholic community. Unlike the stereotypical alcoholic, high-functioning alcoholics either have succeeded or overachieved throughout their lifetime, which is probably why we're not always recognized as alcoholics. But I wasn't a falling down drunk. I mean, not like my father during his alcoholic days. So, in my mind, I wasn't an alcoholic. Then one Sunday afternoon, when I finally ran out of luck, money, strength to fight, whatever I was using to keep my head up, I sat one entire afternoon in my house sipping straight shots of tequila, feeling sorry for myself, feeling angry at the world, watching movies. I sat that afternoon and sipped about 15 ounces of very smooth tasting tequila. When it was time to replace the DVD that I'd been watching with another movie, about the third in a row, I got up from my chair to walk across the room to the TV, and I fell flat on my face. I was very definitely a falling down drunk who could barely get back to her chair. I was surprisingly clear-headed for that alcohol, all that alcohol, even though my body wasn't functioning. During the next few moments, my mind tossed up my entire life, and it scared me to my core. I'm an ordained minister. The past 20 years of my life have been a long series of events leading toward my ordination. The last 10 years of my life have been saturated in religious study and spiritual growth. All preparation for me helping others to enrich their inner lives. One truly important thing that I wanted to do. The fact that my own inner life was a shambles had not even entered the picture until that Sunday afternoon when the truth literally forced me to my knees, and I learned that I could not help others if I could not or would not help myself. Now, I'm not going to stand up here and tell you of my alcoholic episodes. All of us habitual drinkers have our dancing on tabletop stories. My story is about finding sobriety. Not on the day that I quit drinking, but later, by living it.